So what we're going to do today is then I shared all the videos I'm owing you people. Well, I think I'm still owing you people just like one, but I shared almost all the videos in the group, so you can go watch it, and that way you're going to be able to catch up to everything that you've missed, like literally everything you've missed. You can catch up, right? So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at how to understand your competitors, but also how to clearly articulate what your advantage over them is, right? So, those two things. Then, towards the end, we'll now discuss about our IRL, right? So, the way we're going to do this is we're going to briefly, just briefly, I'll talk about competitors and um, competitors and unique advantages, right? Then we'll now go through everybody the way we normally do it, right? This time around, you guys are going to be a little bit faster, right? Because you already know it, right? Then we'll go through that and any, start fixing your competitor choices and the advantages that you think you have, querying them and figuring out if they're correct, right? So so I guess we're just gonna start here, right? So is everybody okay with that? I need to know I'm talking to is the right room. Is everybody fine with that? Okay, thumbs up. Okay, good. Fine. So for starters, right? The way we normally think about competitors is very rudimentary. And it's normally around I am selling this product, and the person that I'm competing with is selling a similar product, right? And I'm trying to go at them either through price or convenience or whatever it is, right? That is rudimentary. That's what a lot of people do, but that is actually rudimentary. The way you want to go about competition is basically ask yourself a very simple question. What is the thing that will take everybody in my industry out of business, right? What is the thing that the customer is actually trying to solve for which they have the decision to hire either I or my other competitors? Because when you position it that way, you actually see the thing that the customer is truly trying to solve, not what the market has agreed is the solution, right? So a simple example will be this: you would think that going to the gym is I'm trying to lose weight, right? Everybody's trying to sell it as, oh, I'm trying to lose weight, I'm trying to stay fit, right? But it is possible that if you just open up another gym, just trying to um, furnish your gym with the best products and best this, it might not actually translate. You might not actually get the amount of people you actually want to get, right? However, if you say to yourself, maybe people are trying to go to the gym for some other reasons, right? Maybe they're trying to find community, right? Maybe they're trying to fit into a wedding dress or a party or a reunion or whatever it is. If you figure that out, you might actually find out a bunch of people that would actually resonate with that story. And if you tell that story, you will be able to attract those people, right? Another example is this: when you are bored, for example, and you have choices you want to make. So it's either I play a game or I go out for a drink or I call up a friend, right? Those three things you wouldn't see them as competing with one another. There's no way Heineken is competing with Sony, right? For PS. But the point is, at the time you wake up and you're bored, what is in the market at the time is your attention. And it comes down to who wants that attention and who is willing to give you the best reward for that attention, right? This is the way you want to think about competition, right? There's a phrase called compete against non consumption. So instead of trying to compete with what everybody's trying to fight over, right? You go and find people that are not consuming anything from any of your competitors, but they should. They ought to, but they should, right? So I would go through the list and kind of pick people I know their businesses and use them as an example, right? So hold on, let me see, let me see. Take Donatus for example, right? He's working on a checkout now. Now, before you would be like, oh, check loyalties. Who is he competing against? Well, it's all the big players, right? If it's not, if it's not Nectar, it's any of the other big players, right? But it turns out that the people that really want to give loyalty are still giving it very in a very rudimentary, very old, archaic way. I mean, you can go to places and they're still punching cards, right? And that's not the best way to do loyalty, right? But if he tries to go compete with the Nectars and the like the bigger other bigger companies, he would dry himself out. But the way he's going about it is he said to himself, well, every checkout needs loyalty. It's the best place to get it. But all the payment companies don't even think of loyalty at all. They just enable payments. So he's doing loyalty and bundling it with payments. Now, would the payment companies think they are competing with him? Will the loyalty companies think they're competing with him? They're going to be in the middle about that. That is going to give him enough time to just grow, right? Before they actually get their acts together, right? So, I mean, that's just the foundation. Like, you want to pick a different way to look at competition, not the old way you used to look at it, right? But say to yourself, what is the thing that the customer truly, truly wants? What are they trying to use my product to hide, right? You peel that layer off and you find where the real advantage is, because with that you can now deliver it in such a way that your other competitors have to now adjust to you. You get? So that's for competition. I mean, while we go through everybody's work, we're going to start picking out some things there with practice. Everybody will kind of figure it out, right? Then the next one is um, unique advantage. For the most part, you really want to do things either you do it cheaper, you do it faster, you give people access, right? So I don't have access before, now I have access, right? Or you do it cheaper, you do it faster, right? You do it more convenient, right? Those are like the very fundamentals, right? And most times they would actually work. As we keep going, I'll introduce a lot more complex ways to look for advantage. Bundling can be an advantage, unbundling can be an advantage, right? But we're not going to go through all of them so that you guys don't get information overload, right? So with that, we can go to the floor and basically um, go through everybody's, well, not everybody, like I always say, go through the people that actually want to basically talk about their competitors and their advantage, right? And what they struggle with on that part, right? So I'll throw the floor open and I'll just take notes for the people that are actually putting themselves forward to tell us about their competitors and their unique advantages. So with that, the floor is open. If you want to tell us about your competitors and the advantage you think you have over them, take the floor. Any hands raised? Okay, Mide, where you go?
Okay, boss. GM everybody.
Jim.
So, over the weekend, I deliberately decided to purchase an item on Jumia, and
Okay.
I noticed that I tried using the pay stack checkout option,
Yeah.
just because I'm building something similar
Okay.
within that niche. But then for stable coins, obviously,
Mm.
right? So I noticed that these guys charge 5% in addition to the actual fee that you're supposed to pay. And while that is fine, I think we can do a little bit lower than that. And that I mean stable coins are like very accessible, very easy to get, and they are instant, right? So for the fact that they need to like do collections, calculate everything before they settle journey at the end of the day or next day or whatever time it is that they agreed upon, right? I feel with stable coins, if we can do 3% with instant settlement, I feel we're gonna have an edge over them in a way to start with. But then as time goes on, maybe we can increase our markup a bit.
So
But for now,
that
I think three
so
percent.
that is difficult to do. It's easier to reduce prices than to hike it, right? It's easier to reduce prices than to hike it. Um, it's I mean, I think you'll have to think that through, right, as a strategy. You get, but that's on that part. Then the next one is you said something about, so is Paystack your competitor? Are they?
Um, not directly, not directly.
How do people pay for products? People that have stable coin, how do they pay for products they truly want?
Currently, I haven't used any yeah, any products that I pay with stablecoin. I've only used the ones with USD or local fiat.
So that in of itself is also a red flag. If you're in a market where nobody else has showed up, it basically means that you're the one trying to validate that market. Is it possible that people have tried and they did not find value there and they left? It's so I think everybody's listening to this, right? It's important to also look at it through that lens. However, when people want to buy stuff, people that have stable coins, if they want to buy stuff, right? How do they do it? They do it with fiat, isn't it?
Yeah,
How do they get the fiat? They off ramp, is it not?
the yeah,
So basically, you're really competing against off ramping because if people are going to do naira, stable coin naira out, then why would they use you if they're already comfortable with doing that, right? So who you're really competing against isn't other stable coin players. That's why you're looking for the wrong competitor. You're really competing against off ramping. And the only way you can truly compete is if you actually embrace no ramp, which is we are going to make it so easy for anybody to build a stable coin denominated store, right? And now do naira off ramping or stable fiat off ramping for them on their own back end, right? That way, now you're going to have some sort of advantage because on one part of the market, everybody off ramps and they spend their fiat. On Further Pay side, right? You enable further stores to basically compete, enable merchants to list there and accept stables, which is what we actually discussed last 2 weeks, Wednesday, if you remember, right? So there's the Further Pay and there's the Further stores, right? You enable merchants to kind of
yeah,
come on top of it, and that's actually where your market should be. Is this is what you can get, earn more from every each transaction. You're telling your merchants that, right? That's who you're telling, right? So it's like, okay, fine, we can help you with everything. We can help you with stores. We can help you with all these things. Um, OX base, you want to say something? Go ahead, yeah. Go ahead,
Alright,
yeah. Yeah. After you,
it's a
Donatus will
good
go. Yeah,
everyone.
yeah. Yeah. You want to say something?
Right. Well, not exactly. I'm concerning what you were saying. If there's anyone that wants to talk about
Okay.
their
No worries. I'll get to you after that. Yeah. So Mide, what you should be asking yourself is, are you really competing against other people, or are you competing against off ramping as as a behavior, right?
Okay.
You get, yeah. Are you competing against off ramping as a behavior? Because when you compete against a behavior or a trend, now there's more opportunity for you to land it big, as opposed to trying to pick little markets. You get? So I think that's what you should ask yourself, which is, are you competing against other players, or are you competing against off ramping itself? Then you now fix that. You get, and we'll get back to the table. Um, OX, go ahead. Also, please, guys, right? It helps when you come up to speak. Just say who your competitor is, your advantage, then we'll now go through the questions as opposed to trying to over explain, right? Yeah. So OX, who are your what are you who are your competitors?
Okay, my competitors are Ota AI,
Okay.
Ota AI, Rev, and Kenny. They
Otta
also
Otta AI, who and who?
Kenny and Rev.
Temu is your competitor.
Kenny.
Okay, I thought you said Temu. I thought you said Temu. Man, I know where you get the money from to compete with Temu. Okay, fine. So what do you what do you do, and why do you think they're your competitors?
Okay, currently I'm building a voice text application.
You're building
Voice
what?
text application, which is voice text application.
Voice to text.
Text, yes, application.
Okay, okay. Isn't
Alright,
that for note taking or like?
now, um, you said, so I
Do
didn't get
do
that.
people use? So why would I use your voice to text where I can use ChatGPT? Why would I use you?
Alright, for instance,
Or you don't
like
know yet?
in
You don't know?
Google Meet right now. Can you
Uh,
hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, as we are now, I don't think you can use ChatGPT to transcribe text.
You can use
Transcribe
ChatGPT
voice to
to
text.
do what?
I
I
don't
didn't
think
get
you can
that. You don't think we can use ChatGPT to do what?
transcribe voice to text.
To transcribe.
Yes.
I don't get like
As in a Google meeting like
this.
this. Like in a Google meeting like this.
Okay, but transcription is not really anything again. Everybody, many there are many players there already. Why do you want to build that? There's no advantage you have. What's the advantage you have building that? There are established programs, established apps doing that. I mean, this call is using. Actually, what are you using? Is it Otter?
Yeah, I'm using Otter and Tactic.
So why? Alex, why are we going to use yours? What is the advantage you have that we cannot do with Otter now? You haven't thought it through, have you now?
First one is,
Huh?
you said,
If you haven't thought it through, then maybe you should go do that because I think you're kind of taking our time. So go do that and figure out why. Because you're basically choosing. You're choosing. It's almost like tomorrow somebody comes and like you're building. It's already done, right? What is the unique advantage you have over everybody else?
alright, this is it. First of all, none of these current computers read their transcription plus blockchain verification.
Nobody needs that transcription. Transcription. No, it doesn't have to be on the blockchain. It doesn't have to be on the blockchain. Nobody needs that on the blockchain. It doesn't really have to be there, right? So I think you should actually go back and actually pick something that, or think it through, right? Like think it through first, because I think you're still trying to kind of figure it out right here, and it's not really the place. Yes, talk to Ashley and think it through. Then Donatus was the next person. After Donatus, he was um, Goddess and Pisolite and Chris Asek.
Okay, GM everyone.
Yeah, Jim.
So basically, what I wanted to add to what you were saying to Mide was so concerning our stablecoin payment checkout. So
Mm.
while I was in Singapore, one of the issues that I have when I want to pay with my stablecoin is they'll be like they prefer cash because they don't want to accept your virtual card because it will take them 2 to 3 days to receive it and you have to pay extra 3%, right? So I was talking with some of the taxi driver that was driving me while in Singapore. So okay, what if there is a payment, a stable coin checkout where you can easily create a stable coin checkout and collect easily payment, and he has no problem with that. Which brings in the problem that the major competition for that payment checkout is actually the off-ramp partner because they need to get their money at the end of the day.
Yeah. And I mean, in Mide's defense, he actually mentioned it the last time. The instant settlement, right? Now the thing is this: we should. So some of you are new to this, right? Stop changing your value prop whenever like, and the only way you can actually solve this is repetition. I know it sounds very funny and borderline silly, but repetition is basically what builds that muscle. Like your settlement time is important. Like once you have it on your head and you're like, okay, fine, we're competing against no ramping, but also even if you're going to off ramp at all, it has to be instant instead of T plus two, T plus three, right? Those are the two things you kind of have in mind. And any player, any well, then again, this is a problem too because if you use P2P players, well, they do instant already, right? But they're not. They collect from everybody, right? So you have to kind of niche down to merchants, and merchants are the ones that tend to have that T2 problem, right? That 2 days to settlement or 1 day to settlement. So you you pitch them. So in the end, merchants are your core people. That's where you should focus on. Tell them that okay, fine, you can make more money from transactions. We're going to split our revenue with you. That's one, but we're going to settle instantly for you, and keep going after them. Keep finding new merchants that are going to adopt you. Keep finding merchants that are not that are no ramp, right? So if I sell shirts and I'm going to accept USDC, why not put USDC in the checkout, right? And make it easier for me to kind of do that. So maybe Forza Pay becomes that amazing checkout that is already no ramp, right? So you have no ramp as a term, you have instant payment as a term, and then end more with every transaction. The three of them form the thesis of how you grow out your business, right? That makes more sense. Donatus, are you done with contributing to him? Let's go to the next person.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, fine. So Goddess is the next, I think. Yes, it's Goddess, and after Goddess
Yeah.
is yeah. Okay, fine. Then Peace Lights, then
Okay.
Chris here.
Okay. Hi.
Yeah.
Jim. Good evening.
Good evening.
Can you can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. All right. So for Pinot.5, our competitors are the traditional notebook, Notion, and Google Docs.
Okay.
And the advantage we have over them is our in-app AI assistant and the advantage of organized research.
Okay, in-app AI assistance and advantage of
Organized research.
so
The
okay,
advantage of organized research. Yeah.
so while this is very fluent and articulate, your core value that you always keep saying you forgot it, which is 20x or 30x research time reduction, right? Is that a, that's yeah? You always have to say
Yeah.
it. You always have to say it. You can't forget it, right? So the whole thing is that the advantage you have is that with all these other systems, it's the time it takes is high. You reduce time, so that should be the first one, right? Then you do this through your in-app AI system, right? And you're supposed to be working on your visualization pipeline, right?
Yes, that's what I'm passing.
Okay, fine. So always remember the value in your one liner you want to carry through, right? Or in your one liners you want to carry them through, right? So you start with time reduction, you obsess over it. you always keep repeating it. You get fine. Yeah.
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 So you said your competitors are the traditional notebook, Notion,
Yes, and Google Docs.
and Google Docs. Okay, fine. So now, this is interesting because it becomes easy for you to kind of show that this is actually where the space still lies. Research for like commentary and all. This is actually where it still lies, and this is what you're bringing to the table with your own examples, right? So, fine. I mean, this is very clear. So that's cool. Pisolite.
Okay, GM, everyone.
Yeah, Jim.
Okay, before now, I would say that my competitor is QuickTeller and Trip.com. But with what you explained, I think our major competitor is the off-ramping guys, right? We cut out the off-ramping time users basically off-ramp to kind of pay these deals. So basically,
Okay, so now the thing is this, right? That will be your traditional competitor with what you think I'm saying. However, the point is you make bills lighter. That's what your one liner is. That's what it should be. That's You make bills lighter. Nobody wants to come to you because you're a platform. They want to come to you because their bills can be made lighter. There's a way for them to make it lighter. Right? True or false?
yeah, yeah,
That's what
sure.
we agreed on, right? Good.
Yeah, yeah.
Who am I competing against if I'm trying to get people's bills to be lighter?
I think
Who?
people people handling the bills already.
Exactly. So, who are those people? People handling collection, right? Who are those people? People doing bill collection, who are those people? So, utility, treasury, school, whatever it is. At any point that somebody is making a payment, can we, one, make it cheaper? Can we, two, send that payment to somebody else who's going to help them pay? Right? Can we use that same the data we have on the people trying to make the payments to give them access to credit or whatever it is, right? The people that do these sort of things are the people you compete against. You get? Because
Yeah,
if
yeah,
your job is to make people's bill lighter, if your job is to convert bills from a negative emotion to a positive emotion, or at least a more desirable emotion, right? Then you have to figure out, well, who is doing that now? That's who I should be competing against, right? And also, when people want to pay bills, who are the people that come to their mind? So it's like cost cutting, send it to somebody, but I have to go and type a message and beg the person. Or I can basically just raise it as an invoice and send. I can raise like say as an air bill request or something. So please buy me credit or something, right? And they could literally just use that payment link and fulfill, right? That is actually what you should be thinking about, because with that, all the advantages come in, right? So it's a different way to think about. That's how you actually win. It's a different way to think about competition. It's not you thinking that, oh, I'm just going to compete with buy power or this. Like, it's still the same thing. Like, everybody hates paying bills. So you ask yourself, what will make bills lighter for people, right? Making sure they're paying the right bill, making sure that if they want somebody else to help them pay the bill, that you enable the link for them, right? So that is it. If somebody wants to do like a bulk transfer of credits to people, right? You make it easy for those people to do that. You get? Just making bill handling easy. Making bill payments, making bill collection, making bill handling easy. Just make it easy, right?
Okay, all right. So our competitor becomes the buy power and the chip.com.
So your computer becomes the people that are just in the things I mentioned. So you have to go back and sit down and ask yourself, well, who are the people here? Let's rebuild it from the ground up, right? So the reason why we're taking the pains to do all this is that your investors will be able to sniff it out when you've done all these things properly, right? Your customers will be able to sniff it out. When you go to an investor and you tell an investor, at surface level, it feels like these are our competitors. However, these are our competitors, and we'll explain why. They'll be like, oh, okay, tell me more about it. They want to learn something new from you, and if they can do that, they can bet on you, right? So I think it's something you have to sit down and actually go through it again. Fine. Then after you, it's
Alright, thank you.
I think the next person was Chris Asek, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Jim,
Chris.
Jim.
Jim, how you doing? Anybody who wants
Oh,
to
good.
say something, please raise your hand so that you get on the queue. Yeah.
Okay. For Sarah, I think more like the way you said for Fusa Pay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have two customer segments, right? For users, individuals personally, and then
Yeah.
for businesses collecting payment. So for the individual part, what we're trying to do is to enable fiat to stables directly without the whole swapping thing, which you mentioned, and then from stables to fiat as well, without those underlying swaps. Just like the sense of using it to receive and same thing for whatever fiat to stables. So that's for the personal. So for the competition in that area, I was actually thinking is maybe general fintech application. Um,
So the
when
thing
you
is this, like,
mentioned
yeah, what you can do is, if the competitors you were competing against are different from what we just mentioned, then take the time to go and rethink it, right? Rethink and figure out if the new people that if it's still the same competitors, or do you have to change? Because the point is, if you even know how you compete, then the advantage becomes very clear to you. You get? Yeah, so I think you should go give it a little bit more time, right? Think it through again and actually write it down. So the whole point is that with every passing day, your pitch just gets better because you're picking the right things to feel at
direct questions.
different parts of the business. Yes. Okay, fine. Spirit Divine.
Sorry, for the business part, which is in terms of collection, both fiat and stables, I think BitPay, they collect crypto payments. So I think that will be one competitor in that area.
So like I said, right? Just take your time. Don't rush. Don't be in a rush to give an answer, right? If you have new knowledge, process it and figure out if it's actually what if it's the same thing or if something has changed. Right? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, fine.
That's good.
Spirit Divine.
Okay, Jeremy,
Yeah, Jim.
what I'm building, Negatron, is basically an AI-powered negotiation chat system. And although now currently there is no direct competitor, an AI-powered negotiation chat system. There's no direct competitor.
Anytime you come up with an idea that there's no competitor, it's a red flag. Nobody wants to give you money to go and test this new market out. At least not in the early days. If you're not experienced, you get. You should find. So, if there are customers, if they're actually customers, right, that you want to go after, how were those customers able to survive without your product? What have they been using? They must be using something. They are not dead. They are alive. They must be using something. Saying that you don't have a competitor is not the flex that you think it is. It's not a flex at all. It's actually lack of research. The customers you are going after must have a pain point. The existing way they solve that pain point is who you're competing against. Right? You must make that conscious effort to find how your potential customers are already trying to solve the problem you're trying to solve for them as well. So take Vinod.life for example. If she said, "Oh, I'm going to look for apps that are building the kind of thing I'm building," she can claim that, well, nobody is building it, right? But if she says, I want to go after commentators, right, and people that do commentary on live streams, well, those people exist. And they use piece of paper with markers and highlighters, and they use Notion, and they use Google Docs. So those things exist. Now, it's based on the features that she has that would give her the advantage. So don't think that you have a flex by saying that I don't have a competitor. It's not a flex. It's actually bad research. You must find who you're competing with. You must find the way your potential customers are currently solving the problem. Right? Very important. Okay. So that's it on that part. So go back and go figure that out properly, because with what you're basically trying to say, I struggle to find how we even go forward from that. So go back and get at it, then come back.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah. Then the next person is Tochi. So Tochi, Abba.
Ah,
If you're Abba now.
if not that, okay, clear.
Okay, wait. You want hold on. What is your TVP now?
160K
160. Talk and complete. And make complete. 160K waiting.
dollars.
So why are they calling you about the run? He processes 160K thousand dollars. That's what he has processed since that certain patch, right? And for context, we went to South Africa in March, right?
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
10,000. Crazy story,
Yeah.
right? We told a potential investor that Paj has processed 10,000, and they literally started laughing at us, like literally started laughing,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
I mean, donatus was, you know about that now, and now contrast that was March, April, and is how many months from that? They're doing 16x of that already, right? So it just goes to show you that a lot of things can change if you really put your mind to it. You can, yeah. So Tochi, please, you have the floor.
Okay. I think, yeah, I'm not sure, but I think our major competitors are centralized exchange. Yeah. Why we consider them as our competitors, most people, after doing their Web3 activities, usually move their funds to those exchanges or ramping. And these are the places that have the most off-ramp and on-ramp activities. And our competitive advantage is you don't need to move your money out of your wallets anymore. What you do, off-ramping happens daily, weekly, depending on users, as compared to on-ramping. And why we decided to focus on that as our Trojan horse to our users is because of the constant need for it. And we believe with the way we are moving, as we focus on ease, that's like basically our competitive advantage over these centralized exchanges.
Yeah. I mean that's solid. So, well, it's clear you're in the field, so you're on no hard. Like you know exactly who the competitors are, and yes, that's true. I also think that, I mean, what you guys have been able to do is very interesting in the sense that the money goes into my bank account if I actually want it to go into my bank account, right? I don't have to do intermediaries and all that, right? So what that also does is that if I know that I can get this in Naira as fast as possible, then I might not necessarily want to off-ramp it as fast as possible, because I know that, well, it's there whenever I need it. I don't want it to go through inflation right now if I off-ramp it, right? So that's fine. Your unique advantage is streamlined use, right? Regardless, whatever you want to do, right? I also think that there's something that these guys aren't doing that I know you and I have discussed this before, which is Paj solves this off-ramping thing very elegantly. Meaning that Paj checkout wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah.
Right? Paj checkout wouldn't be a bad idea at all. Right? because there's the naira, there's the fiat, there's the stable part of it, right?
Yeah.
It's something that Binance doesn't have. It's something that BitGet doesn't have. At least I don't know if BitGet has it. However, Binance in their app, I don't know if it's still there now, but the last time I was there, they had Binance the store part. They were trying to work on it, but it never really took off, right? Where they could bring people inside and settle with the money you have inside your Binance, so you don't have to off ramp. So I think in the end is this: everybody in the off ramping business is headed towards no ramp, which is the money comes in, right? But you can spend it from there,
Yeah.
right? You don't have to kind of off ramp it again. You can spend it from there, and it can change states. It could be naira, it could be whatever it is. So it might be interesting for ForzaPay to do a patch integration and focus heavily on Forza stores, because that's exactly where almost all their business is going to come from, right?
Yeah.
That's the way I see it, right? It might be interesting for patch checkouts, like whenever you decide to do something like that, right? Becomes like the easy checkout where everybody else uses. It might be interesting to have like a very close transaction with either Nectify or not Nectify, or so Nectify and Vexio. There might be a middle ground where there's collaboration where all of them can focus on what they really do best, right? You know, and who is Sarah? Sarah is not here now. At least not now, yeah. You know, so I mean that's what I would, because in the end, anybody who is in the off-ramp business, the existential threat is coming from no ramp. Because if the money becomes, if stablecoin becomes commonplace, right? There's actually no need to really off-ramp again. Everybody will accept it. So it's the people that off-ramp that would have the best advantage if they actually see it properly, right? So if they don't see no ramp as competition, if they see it as the future, right, they will cannibalize themselves. So imagine where you make more money by enabling more people to use the patch technology at the back end, right, to run everything they're running, and they can now focus on the parts of their business that truly matter. You get?
Yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Who next? Eddie. Eddie, I think you're next, right?
Okay, GM everyone.
Yeah, Jim.
Yeah, my competitors are for the products I'm building are Kimono Finance, Drift, Drip Protocol, and the likes. So we're basically making it easy for users to save their USDC and invest their USDC without having to off ramp and do the likes of it. So just making it easier for them instead of
Do you have traction now?
No, we don't really have that much traction.
Why is
have
that?
About 20 better users.
Why
and
is
just testing
that?
out the product.
Why do you think that is? Why would I use your products instead of using Camino Finance? They are strong,
for
they've been audited, they have you been audited? No. Have you finished your smart contract? No.
No.
So this is the thing, right? It's noble to want to build like these big guys, right? But the market doesn't reward you for great ideas. It rewards you for execution. If you cannot compete, why are you even bothering? Why are you trying? What is the advantage you have? When it comes to that kind of business, the king is liquidity. Do you have liquidity? Is it secure? Right? If you don't have liquidity, if you don't have access to liquidity, if it's not secure, build a plugin or something that is interesting, right? And contribute it or find a way to come in. But when you say I'm going to compete with Camino Finance, an investor is looking at you like, no, you're not. Okay, so let me say the thing that made me laugh actually with this thing you just said. So they don't need to learn how to trade or how to do anything. They just need to give you their stable coins and you give them yield. That's what you said, right?
Yes.
Doesn't it sound like Yahoo Yahoo to you? This thing you just said now, doesn't it sound like Ponzi to you?
It's not Ponzi because you can actually see the activity on the blockchain. So we are not defrauded. We don't plan to defraud anybody.
But you're better. No, hold on. You're better than Camino Finance because all the security Camino has put in place is a joke. Just give us just put the money and we'll get yield. It's what you said now, is it not? Or am I hearing something different? Isn't that what he said? Now, does that sound like so? This is the thing. Is like you guys are playing in the big leagues now. There are some things you just can't be saying like, oh, the advantage you have over Camino Finance is that Camino Finance, the learning curve is so high and everything. There's a reason why the learning curve is there. There's a reason why they tell you remember your seed phrase in crypto. There's a reason for all these things, right? So saying that um, that you're simpler, you're not. Don't so if you want to go into a war that with these big people, that's why they say that's why they call it competition. Is there must be an advantage you have over them that is actually valid to the customer. I'm not going to use you. I'm going to use Camino Finance before I use you. Camino Finance is audited. Camino Finance has TVL, right? They've proven beyond a reasonable doubt that they can do some things. You get? I mean, Alex is here, right? Alex. Alex. I can see Alex, he's not here. You can mute. I think Eddie. I think you can mute. Okay, Dara, you're next, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Please, quick here.
Yeah. So for us, our major competitors would be social applications where some sort of commerce actually happens. So these applications, for example, like WhatsApp Business and all of that, there's not power to the merchants to actually.
Okay, so we discussed this. We discussed this the last time, Chidera, right? Give us time to listen to what you're saying. You're sprinting through your words, right? Slow down and give us time to listen to what you're saying. Okay.
All right. So yeah. So for us at Chata, so our major competitors would be social applications where some sort of commerce happens. Think WhatsApp Business, Instagram, and all the rest. So most of these other social platforms do not actually focus on giving the merchants the ability to make every DM still. So they don't have access to data and the tools you need to actually like get your customers to convert and retain them. So yeah, so that's the primary thing we are solving. Except aside the fact of also making the payment native in terms of using stablecoins to actually facilitate it. So it's truly global. So yeah.
Stable coins in that isn't the problem or isn't the solution. Customers, the merchants you're trying to help in the DM, what they really care about is that they convert. Conversion is the most important thing to them. They Chatter can exist without stable coins. It's not a must that it must be stable coins, right? So this is the thing that some of you also need to understand is solve the problem first for the customer. Then everything will kind of come through there. You get? But that's it. So I think you are the last person. Who else from the audience wants to tell us about what they're building? About their competitors and sprites we've already discussed now. You're going to go back and come back. Right? We did that already. Yeah, Manny, go ahead.
Yeah. So that's for Brank. Basically, at Brank, we help businesses find credit worthy borrowers. So our competitors are mainly Spectral Finance. Competitors are actually outside of the Solana blockchain. They are on Ethereum, Base, and some other networks. They do very similar things, almost the same, but we don't really have the competitors on Solana. So I'm not 100% sure about this, but our current advantage is just building the best user experience on Solana for credit building and credit infra. So yeah, I would just like
Okay,
to
so
talk
the
about that.
so this is the thing too, is that I get what you're saying, but you can use words like "I'm not so sure about this," right? Because you are telling us what your competitor, who your competitors are, but the unique advantage, right? You would have to be sure because you're talking to us as an authority. You get? So it's important to us that you give us that, right? You give us some assurance because if you say it to me and I now have to go out to kind of verify again and do my due diligence, that's work that you should have done for me already. You get? So it's the this is what we offer currently, right? And if you haven't finished the research, you're like, oh, as we go forward, we're going to find more advantages. You get? So I think that's it's just something that is good that we catch all of them now so that when we're out there pitching, we don't make those mistakes, right? We catch them very early so we don't make
Yeah,
those mistakes, yes.
yeah.
But also,
Thank you.
oh yeah, no, sure, no worries. Also, you are in a field where doing having a credit score. So credit ratings are actually non-existent actually on the blockchain, but they exist in real life, right? Because we haven't solved oracles, we haven't solved RWAs at least in the way that it matters to regular people who can't afford credit. We have solved RWAs from the inventory point of view. At least we are solving it. Not we haven't finished. We're not done yet, but we are solving it. However, people who need access to liquidity, right? Not all of them can actually get it, right? People who don't have collateral, but actually are great people that can actually pay back, right? We don't have that yet. So what you're trying to do is basically that, if I understand it very well, right? It's basically that. So I think you probably need to do a lot more in the storytelling of Brand, but also from the competitor side, which is these people are so take Brand for example. How do the microfinance banks that lend people money, right, or the loan sharks that lend people money at higher rates? How do they value? How do they say to themselves, this person I'm lending this money to is going to pay back, or how do they get the risk appraisal of those people, right? That's who you're competing against. You get? At least one of the people you're competing against.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So we're gonna work on it, and hopefully by the time your Emmanuel, you're going to go next. By the time your pitch comes up during the Friday pitch exercise, it will be much better. Again. Okay, fine. Emmanuel.
Yeah, I just want to say that the time is like you're bending under 1 minute, so I don't know if I should drop the new link or something. So I'm trying to like throw your notice to it.
Um. Okay, I think we're good to go. Actually, we're probably just going to discuss the IRL event maybe in the group or on Wednesday if that works. Right? We can just end here. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Yeah. Okay. So for the people that participated today, that are actually that I like what they said. That will be Tochi, Fozape, and Vina, right? The three of them at least had a lot more teeth into what they were building. They stood up, they went for it. Okay, so I think this is, yeah, I'm going to basically finish up on the group here. Okay, fine, fine. So the gifts would actually be in the group. So I think we're going to go for Fozape, Vina, and Tochi. great articulation of their competitors, understood the dynamics of the advantages that they basically want to have, right? They're still going to do quite a bit about it, but the good thing is that they stood forward, they came forward and basically went for it, right? So the three of them, yes, Chris Asek, Spirit Divine, and Chatter, they all stood up too, but there was things lacking in their presentation, right? So today's gift should be around for Forza, for Vina, and for Tochi. So I'll communicate in the group and would take it from there.